get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show.
So firstly, tell us about yourself. You've been in the industry, in and out of the industry for many years.
Yeah, well, I started off in early 2000s with an audio manufacturer, and I've stayed within audio for a number of years, even, I say out the industry, but out of AV and more in the corporate and commercial audio solutions. But no, it's an amazing industry to be part of. I've always enjoyed the audio side of things, learning the video again now, so that's always an interesting part for me. So yeah, it's fabulous.
And what's been your focus for ISE? What have you seen? What have you liked? What have you missed?
From the audio aspect, it's been a challenging last couple of years. Component supply has always been a challenge. So yeah. I haven't said that there's anything been leaps and bounds made in the market, but there's certainly a lot of product there that has been and a lot of investment in new product that really do look like they're going to bring some of the market forward. So it's all good.
And getting on to the diversity and the inclusivity and the conversations that we've had about enabling people.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think that as an industry, we are actually at the cutting edge and at the front line of that. Obviously with COVID happening in recent years, AV has actually enabled people really to connect. And from a mental health aspect, that is actually vital. There's the 4 pillars of good mental health, obviously diet, good sleep, exercise, but the biggest one for me is communication.
Yeah.
So from being isolated all the way through COVID and the industry not relearning but adapting to the requirements of people remote working and actually having to, Teams, Zoom, all of these remote working technologies have really actually brought forward and enabled people that maybe who have got physical disabilities that haven't been able to engage in the office and get to an office, actually to be able to carry out the jobs that they're skilled and very capable of doing. I mentioned before one of my friends, she's quite, her mobility issues are quite severe, but she's an excellent recruitment consultant. But
brilliant.
Because of the fact that her mobility became so severe that she wasn't able to go into the office, it meant that she became unemployed. Her mental health was massively affected by that. But with the use of Teams, with the use of remote working technologies that we now have, which are completely at our disposal and are so second nature now, we've learned as an industry over the last 2 years, and we've learned quickly, we've learned well, and we've really adapted to what people need. And that's given her now the ability to work from home. She's actually now, her mental health, she says, is the best that she's felt in years.
Wow.
And now she's actually, and not just that, the revenue that the company are making from her because of her experience.
Of course.
That's all been lost previously, but now that company's really benefiting from somebody that was, for want of a better word, but excluded from being able to work.
And that's the thing, right? Because I think in some cases, she might not have even got through the interview stage or been shortlisted as even, for a role. And a few people have told me that there are things that they wouldn't disclose at interview stage or if they're at application stage, because they know somebody will see that and employers will be scared of it and say, well, actually, that sounds like I've got to put things in place. Are they going to be able to work for me? That whole, will they do 5 days or...
Yeah.
It's about letting go of those, and be more flexible.
Of course, it's, and I'm not saying I've experienced this myself. I'm not saying that this is in a way you can say, well, that person they're right. However, it could be more trouble than it's worth just to have to invest that time and effort. And maybe there is a short-term investment to enable the person to work within the environment, within the building. However, they've got to see past that short-term investment to what the returns are going to get on that. The return on investment will always be, if they're the right person, will always be more significant than any short-term cost, because the person is going to be motivated to stay.
Exactly.
Because they've got an opportunity and not just motivated to stay, they'll be motivated to work and work hard.
Exactly. And it's refreshing to see that there are employers out there that can see beyond the barrier, and actually if that person is telling you that they can do it, and sharing with you what they need and you know what will make it work, then why not take that leap of faith? Why not actually give that person the opportunity? Like you say, it's I spoke yesterday about feeling valued where you work and how important that is, and actually that doesn't mean necessarily the money you take home every month. Of course that counts, but value comes in different shapes and forms.
Of course.
And feeling that you're contributing is massive. Feeling that you're part of an organisation and that you belong there, and that you like you just mentioned, the revenue that your friend's bringing in, that you're actually contributing to the overall success, is fantastic for anyone. And to have that taken away because of something that's out of your control,
it's pain. It can be painful.
Really painful.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody if? So, obviously you've not experienced discrimination on that front, but you know that there's examples that we've spoken about as well of people in the industry who, for whatever reason, have been overlooked. There have been people who, possibly even before the pandemic, because they weren't as visible in their teams, or they weren't given opportunities that maybe somebody who's in the office every day and gets seen every day gets, whether it's promotion, whether it's an account to manage, or whatever it is. What advice would you give to somebody who's starting out or joining the industry and has some barriers? What advice would you give them?
Engage with the management and the structure and work within the business, and don't be afraid. Nobody should feel afraid to actually voice, I've got a career plan, I've got a progression that I want within business.
Yeah.
Everybody has something. You have to be motivated by something. And it's explain that. It may be career progression, it may be I want to earn a lot of money.
Yeah.
It may be I want to feel valued within the business. If your managers are clearly understanding what that value, what your requirements are, they will be able to invest back in that person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's it. For me, I have little things in my head that I like to stick to, rules for my life. And one of my favourite ones is, and I learned this from a guy years ago, and he named his business after this, and it's VAULTS.
Okay.
And it's value and understanding will lead to success.
I like that.
So if you place the value and you understand the requirements of a person, that will lead to success for that person and for your business, because people that do feel valued and are motivated will be successful. No matter what, they will find success in some way, shape or form. Yeah. And if they're successful, you're successful.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit.